Hey everybody, I am here to answer some interview questions that Jack from Australia asked me to complete for him. He is starting an Instagram page and asked if I would be willing to participate in this interview. And I am totally honored to be invited to do this. So I am going to just read one by one each question and give you the answers as best as I can. I'm just kind of going through them right now. I didn't really prepare ahead, so we'll see what comes to my mind first when I'm asked each of these questions. So let's get started. So the first question is, what made you take up tap dancing? This one's simple. I was 5 years old and my mother put me in tap class and I never stopped. What do you like about tap and what does it mean to you? There's so much I love about tap dancing. First of all, I love dancing in general. I am a trained dancer in all styles of dance. I love that I can be a musician and a dancer at the same time. I love that I can enhance the music with what I choose to add into the rhythm. I love that that it's something kind of special to be a part of. We have the hashtag TapFam, and it really does feel like a family. And it's kind of amazing to be involved in a career where we, as an entire entity, almost consider ourselves a family, which is pretty special and pretty amazing. So I truly love what I do, and I'm so grateful to be a tap dancer. Do I have any favorite steps? It's hard to answer that because, of course, there are so many steps that I love, but I will say when I went to break the floor when I was 19 years old, I'm from Michigan and I do live in New York now, but I was traveling to New York at the time for that convention. And Chris Irk, shout out to Chris Irk, hi Chris, was teaching this dance and he put this one step in it that I absolutely fell in love with. And there was just something about that one that was very magical to me because I learned it when I was a kid and when I was in New York by myself, just here to study because I was so passionate about the art form. And what I did is I actually put up a YouTube video. I have a YouTube channel and I put up a video of myself teaching that step with Chris's permission on National Tap Dance Day a few years ago. So if you're curious what step I'm talking about or you want to learn it, you actually can learn it on my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Shelby Kaufman. What's the first thing I do when I put on my tap shoes, set steps, or improv? Okay, so I am somebody who really loves choreographing, really loves to learn someone else's choreography. I am much more comfortable doing both of those things than I am as an improviser. This is because I was never asked to improvise until I was in my 20s, and I've been tap dancing since I was 5. In general, I'm a person who prefers choreography to improvisation because that's where my strengths lie. Let's see. What is awesome about being a woman in tap? Tap dance allows me to be incredibly powerful and strong and hard-hitting, but then very feminine when I want to be. I think tap can be so many things and women are so many things that I love that I'm able to sort of show so many different sides of who I am as a woman, as a human being through my tap dancing every single day. What advice would you give to beginners or dancers who are lukewarm on tap? In general, I think so often people say, oh, everyone needs ballet because it's the foundation of dance and it helps you be better at other styles, whether or not you love ballet as its own entity. That is absolutely true. I could not agree more with that. But I will also say that I feel the same way about tap because I think that tap dance allows other dancers and other styles, even if tap is not their specialty or not their thing, it allows them to start thinking musically and rhythmically in a way that will make them much better and stronger at picking up choreography in other genres of dance because they're going to understand the timing, the counting, and the musicality of those other styles if they're able to think like a tap dancer. In terms of tap dance beginners, I would just say that like anything else, it's really hard. And there's so many things you have to do at the same time that it can get frustrating. But if you just hang in there and keep practicing, it absolutely will get easier, I promise, and it is never too late to pick it up. And a little anecdote about that, which is one of my mentors, Jermaine Salzberg, who is somebody that I've been in her company for 12 years. I used to assist her at Broadway Dance Center, Steps on Broadway, teach for her, and we are incredibly close. And I just always love to tell new, especially adult tap dancers, that Jermaine Salzberg, who made a career as a tap dancer, tap teacher, never put on a pair of tap shoes until she was 25 years old. And I think when people hear that, it really makes them realize that it's never too late to start. What is the most satisfying thing about teaching? Okay, this is a hard question for me because I do a lot of different kinds of teaching. So I teach students that are kids all the time. I've been doing it for 20 years. And right now, the place I teach children the most often is at a place called Shuffles Tap and Musical Theater School in Manhattan. And the thing that I really love about teaching kids is, number one, it allows me to make really close relationships with kids of all ages, and I really love kids. Something really nice about teaching the same students every week is that you can build upon a foundation. And so many of my students that I'm currently teaching that are seniors in high school, for example, I've been teaching for the last 10 years. And so, I'm now at a place with them where I can throw absolutely anything at them and they can handle it, or even if it's a challenge, they'll work to get it. And so I feel so grateful to have been involved in molding those dancers that are now so passionate and so skilled that I can treat them as adult professionals. In terms of teaching adults at open classes like Broadway Dance Center, Steps on Broadway, tap festivals, conventions, going and teaching, workshops at different dance studios, I think there's something incredibly rewarding about that because I feel like I have my own unique perspective as a teacher. I love when I can sort of impart a little something new that maybe they haven't tried before or thought about before in a class. And I can't get enough of doing that. And the last thing I will say is I teach tap on YouTube. And I think there is something so rewarding about not even realizing the scope or the reach of my training. So every now and then I'll meet someone who says, oh my gosh, I watch your videos every day. You helped me get my pullbacks, or I learned the shim sham from you. And it's kind of amazing to know that just from where I am in New York and with the help of social media, that I can reach people in other countries on a day-to-day basis as a teacher. The next question. What do you try to instill in your students? How do you go about teaching students who learn differently? I, of course, try to instill hard work, work ethic, practice. But I also think it's so important as teachers of any sort to try to teach the students to be kind and nice, good people. I also really want to instill in them that you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it, and can't should not be in any of our vocabulary. Students who learn differently. I've been teaching, as I said, a really long time, so I sort of have found little tactics of what to do in different situations. For example, sometimes I'll water down a step. If someone's not getting something, rather than just saying, oh, you have to get it right now, I'll say, well, why don't you try this instead? Because it'll teach you the weight shifting that will eventually lead you to this other thing. I think the tactic really does change based on the individual's needs. And I would like to think and hope that I'm pretty good at gauging what might help somebody who has a specific issue with learning a specific step. How do I choreograph a routine and what goes into that process for me? I personally never begin with the steps ever. I always have a vision. I always have a big, greater idea, and I have sort of a picture in my head, and then I bring that picture to life by adding steps to it. Sometimes the vision will inform the music, so I'll have an idea and then I'll have to find the right song for it. Other times, the song will give me a vision. And so I work both of those ways, but what I tend not to do is have just a combo or steps that I turn into a dance. That isn't really the way I work. Do I have any personal favorite tap moments or any performances that stand out as being extra special? Yes. I've done so many performances throughout my life in so many different venues, and a lot of them are incredibly special to me. Like I said, I've been in Jermaine Salzberg's tap company for 12 years, so I've had some really wonderful moments on stage with some incredible friends I've met that way. What I would definitely want to specifically say is that I had an incredible mentor and a best friend named Harold Stumpy Cromer. He was in his 90s when I was working with him, and I was one of his 3 assistants. I created with my youth ensemble in Michigan called Glide. We created a surprise tribute to him with an a cappella version of Mr. Bojangles, which is something he sang on stage a lot. And he was physically there. And I actually got to have him sit down in a chair on stage and watch this surprise tribute be done for him and watch his reaction on stage to the choreography that I created for him at the Motor City Tap Festival. All of this took place there. And this was months before he passed away. I love him. I miss him every day. He's been gone 6 years and I still think about him literally every day. So the fact that I was able to perform with him on stage before he passed and sort of show him what he meant to me through a performance is something that's definitely a standout throughout my career. One more thing I would say is learning some of the original American Tap Dance Orchestra choreography by Brenda Buffalino and performing that. Brenda's a legend and her choreography and her work is legendary. So to even get to be a part of that and learn from her and perform her work was another incredibly special moment for me. Who are my favorite tap dancers? There are so many. It's really hard to answer that. I could go on and on and on and on, but I really love Michelle Dorrance's quirky energy, and her choreography I think is stunning. So she's definitely a favorite of mine. I mean, there's just so many people that I almost feel insulting not mentioning everybody. You know, people that both passed away and that are alive now and that are younger than me. I mean, there is such a range of incredible tap dancers that it would be really hard for me to start naming people and then leaving out people. I mean, there's just, it's hard to even stop myself. So the list is long, and maybe at some point I will go into more depth about that. Classy or casual tap? Top hat and tails or t-shirt and jeans? My answer is absolutely both. I am somebody who I try my very best to be incredibly versatile, even as a tap choreographer. I have a very musical theater side to me. I have a very hip-hoppy side to me. I love tapping to acoustic guitar. I love tapping in jeans. I love tapping in like a really beautiful dress. I think that the more versatile we can be as tap dancers, the better, and the more well-received we will be as a community. And if we sort of think that tap should be only one thing, I think we're limiting ourselves. Do I have any dream roles I would like to play? Well, as you can hear from my voice, I have vocal nodules. I've had them since I could talk. I was diagnosed when I was 7. So I am not the best singer in the world. So I think in terms of dream roles, I have to sort of realize that they would always be more acting and dancing roles than singing roles, which sort of takes me out of a lot of possible choices. You know, to be honest with you, I think my best answer for that is my dream is to choreograph shows on Broadway more so than be in them, although I do absolutely love performing and I do love to be on stage. I eat it up. But that being said, I think a big dream of mine is to choreograph at the Broadway scale. Tap can sometimes be judged unfairly or treated without respect. What would you say in defense of the form and tap dancers? Sometimes I don't think it is as much a lack of respect as it is a lack of awareness, maybe a little bit of ignorance. I mean, I think sometimes you go to a dance competition and no one there really understands what kind of floor we should be asked to tap dance on, what kind of mics we need. I think that people would understand not to ask a concert pianist to play on a keyboard on TV. So I'm not sure why, tap dancers would be asked to dance on a marley floor when wood is our instrument. So I think the more you know, the better you can do to help us give you our best performances. What do I hope an audience feels watching me perform the thing that I love? I just hope they feel my joy and my passion, because I have so much of it. And I truly hope and believe that I am able to express that on stage. And so I'm just hoping that people can feel my love of it, can feel my experience, my joy, my effort, my hard work. I was at a doctor's appointment recently where they were telling me I have 2 sprained ankles, which is, ridiculous. I think I've had them for 13 years or something. But they were like, I just wish that you could win the lottery so you could stop working and let your body heal. And I just thought about it. I was like, well, I don't. Like, sure, I'd love to win the lottery, but even if I did, that would never stop me from tap dancing. It is my passion. I didn't just say, let's be a tap dancer. I innately am a tap dancer, and all the money in the world would never stop me from pursuing this career and this passion that drives me. If you are interested in having me to choreograph or perform or teach, I am available, and I would absolutely love to work with you. So my email is shelby.kaufman@gmail.com. Definitely just, you could do what Jack from Australia did and just shoot me an email and I will answer it. And I will sit here for a half an hour and answer your questions or do whatever it is you ask of me, because I love this art form and I'm so thankful to be included in a conversation about it. Thanks. Bye.